Okay, so first thing about eggs. In Canada, all eggs that you buy are grade A. Okay, so any other grade eggs do not make it onto the store shelves. The next piece is if you're using this in a restaurant or somewhere where you're going to sell them to people, you cannot use farm ungraded eggs. Okay, that doesn't mean that I don't love farm eggs, because I do. I love going to the market, getting farm fresh eggs, or getting them from friends who have chickens. It's wonderful. All I'm saying is that for restaurants, you cannot use them. So what we're going to do first, we're going to talk about the eggs. So if you have a perfect world, these eggs would be room temperature, and mine are not. So, and I'm doing this on purpose today. Mine are not, because I want you guys to understand what you can do if you pull these right out of the fridge. Otherwise, in a perfect world, these would be sort of room temperature. The reason we want them room temperature is so that when they hit the boiling water, they don't crack, and then they sort of grow these little they have these little growths that come out. They look like little tumors and things. We want these eggs to be as perfect as possible. So there's a couple ways to do this. I could stick this into a bowl full of warm water and let them sit there for a bit, come up to temperature, or I can actually put them into the pot that I'm going to cook them in. The issue with this is I have to mark the exact moment of time when I reach the boil so that I can count my 10 minutes. Okay, so I want them to boil for 10 minutes, and then I'll pull them off for 1 minute, and then I'm going to get cold water on them right away, stop the cooking process, and peel them as quickly as I can. So I'm actually going to do that this way. So first of all, I'm going to start off my heat. Okay, so I'm going to put that as full. I'm going to put my eggs in my pot, and I'm trying not to crack them in the process. I'm going to purposely put some hot water in there so that I can, I'm putting 9 in here, okay, even though recipe is for 8. Okay, I'm gonna put warm water in here. And I need to make sure that these are covered. Okay, so the eggs need to be covered. They don't have to be way over top, but they have to at least cover the eggs. And what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to add a nice tablespoon of salt to the water. Like that. And I'm going to bring this to the boil. Okay, so that's one method from cold eggs. The other would be to put them in warm water and then slowly drop them into the boiling water. So once you get the water boiling, then you could put them in there and start counting your time from that point. So what I'm going to do is do this here, but I have to be vigilant. I have to check it out, because the minute that I get boiling, so you're going to see little bubbles at first, okay, and then all of a sudden you're going to get boiling. That minute that boils, 10 minutes is what I need to count. And I have to be really, really strict with that. So when I get to the 10, I finish, take it off for the 1 minute, and then cool them off. If I overcook eggs, what ends up happening, they don't become dangerous to eat or anything like that, but you get around the yolk on the inside, there's a sulfur deposit that comes out of the yolk that builds up on the sides and turns black. So you may have seen this at parties and things like that. And for a chef, if you get a sort of a julienne salad served to you, and there's these eggs with this black ring around the thing, it's a real no-no, and it's a bit of a put-off. So you want to try not to get that. You want that yellow to be cooked all the way through, but bright yellow, okay, and be beautiful. So I'm going to watch this, and at 10 minutes, or sorry, when it reaches the boil, I'll show you, then we'll let it cook for the 10 minutes. So you can see now that there's little bubbles starting to rise. Okay, that's not quite the boil yet, but we're getting very, very close. Okay, we're back. So we're just about to break the boil. Okay, so it's been about, I'd say about 2-3 minutes so far. And we're just getting to the point of ebullition. So this is good. All right, I'm gonna check the time. Time right now is 8:52. So I'm gonna say that at 8:53 we're gonna be at a full boil, and I'm going to add 10 minutes from that. Okay, so at 9:03 I know that I have to get these off. I just take them off the heat, leave them there for a minute, and then I'm going to refresh them in cold water. See you in a bit. Okay, and just to make sure we're really boiling and that I was correct about the time, check that out. All right, there we go. We are boiling. All right, let's see how we're doing, shall we? So it's 9:02. I've got just a little bit left of a minute. The boil looks pretty vigorous. Looks good. So as soon as that goes to 9:03, we're just going to take that off the heat, turn off the heat, let it sit there for 1 minute only, and then cold water into the sink, and we're going to flush that out. All right, so there we go, 9:03. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to take this, move it over to the side, and I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. See you. All right, 1 minute has passed. So now I'm going to take this, bring that over to my sink. I'm going to put it in the sink and start flushing it with cold water. And I'm going to do that until they cool down enough that I can just handle them. All right, so once they're cool enough that I can handle and cut them apart, that's what I'm going to do. And we'll move to the peeling phase very shortly. Okay, so they're cool. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take these eggs, they still have the shell on them, and I'm just going to roughly crack them like that. And I'm just going to, first of all, get my compost bin here. All this is great for your garden as well, okay, for your compost. So I'm just going to start that process. When I started, I just sort of peel away here, and you'll see that there's a membrane on the inside. If you can get under that membrane, you'll see, I don't know if you can see it on the video, there's this little see-through kind of membrane. If you can get under that, you'll see that you'll be able to peel the whole thing quite easily. And what I have is a nice, beautiful egg with no pieces missing. The salt does that, so make sure you salt your water. I'll show you another. All right, so I get under that membrane, like that. And you'll see once you get under it, the whole thing comes off so nicely. And then you have this beautiful egg. All right, one more time, just for good measure. There we go. Get under that membrane. Take it off. And I'll finish these, and we'll be right back. So our eggs are peeled, and they look beautiful like this. One thing you could do also, and that was done, most people from Northern European backgrounds, you keep the shell on, and you can actually soak them in food coloring and water, and you can actually color these eggs. And those used to be the eggs that they'd go hunting to find. They were real eggs, not chocolate ones like we do over here. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to cut these in half. I'm going to do it with a sharp knife, and then I want to scoop out the yolks into here, and we're going to make a filling and then put them back into these. So you can see that yellow is gorgeous. There's no black ring around it, okay? And that's what we want. So we're going to pop that out. And same thing over here. And I'll continue to do that with all the eggs. In the meantime, I'll put these shells, they're not really shells, the actual whites onto this plate. I'll organize them here, and then they'll be ready to be filled. Okay, so let's start the assembly process. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to dice up my chives. I still have a plant of chives in the house that I've been trying to keep alive over the winter time. They do much better outside, but I'm glad I have these right now because this will balance out not only for flavor, and it'll break the colors up. Okay, we're dealing with white eggs, light yellow yolks, so we want things to bring out and enhance those colors so that they actually look pretty. So the paprika will give us that. You could alternatively, I'm not going to be doing this today, but you could put black or red caviar on there, little chunks of smoked salmon, some capers, dill. There's so many things you can do with this to sort of kick them up in any which way that you like. Okay, so let's get to that process. So I'm going to dice this. So I got these cute little chunks. And I'm going to keep those aside because we're going to use those to garnish at the end. I just wanted to get this out of the way. So Get rid of this. Get rid of this. And now I've got all my yellows here. Okay, all my yolks rather, sorry. And what we're going to do is we're going to season those up. So the recipe that I'm providing you asks for a little bit of yellow mustard. Okay, I don't like too much of that flavor, so it asks for a half teaspoon. I'm actually just going to put sort of a quarter, just because I just don't really dig the flavor all that much. You could do it with Dijon. Dijon's wonderful, give you a great flavor. Next, we're going to go with mayonnaise. Okay, and if you don't like mustard flavors at all, then don't put them at all, and you can just go with straight mayonnaise. All right, we're looking for roughly a tablespoon of mayonnaise, and we're going to go with a little bit of salt and pepper as well. I'm using white pepper here. Okay, white pepper just has a little bit of a different flavor to it, but you don't get to see those, those black specks. So we're going to mix that up, and I'm sort of going to turn it into a paste. And if you find that you don't like the consistency, you can always adjust it a little bit, okay? And I actually think that I might like a little bit more mayonnaise in here myself. So anyway, we'll check this out. I like it just a little bit more creamy than sometimes you get. This has a nice dry consistency. And back to not having all the tools during isolation, I don't have a piping bag here at home, so I'm just going to be scooping them in. All right, before we do that, let's add a little bit more mayonnaise. Now, a little hot sauce wouldn't hurt in here. If you want to put a little Worcester sauce, you can absolutely put that in there too. This really, you can do anything you like. See, I'm kind of liking the consistency of this now. It's a little bit more creamy, and I like that. Oh, beautiful. So the next part we got to do is we've actually got to taste this. So I'm just going to use these spoons. I'm going to use that 2-spoon method. And I'm going to get rid of the spoon that I'm tasting with, and then just so you're not getting confused here that I'm doing something I shouldn't be. But we're just going to taste that. Tastes pretty good. All right, now once that's done, bring my plate over. So you can see I've put them all, sorry, I'm trying to show you here. So all the little halves are in there. And what we're going to do here, now a little piping bag would be great. You can also take a little baggie, cut the end off, and you could squeeze them in each one like that too. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with little spoons, and that's fine. You do what you like. And I'm just gonna sort of massage them around so that they kind of have some cool texture to them. And I want a little bit of height on them as well, like that. Yeah, let's go there. Okay, I'm going to continue the process, and then we'll get on to garnishing. Okay, so they're all filled now. So I don't know how well you can see them there. There we go. And so what we want to do now is we're going to garnish. So I'm going to start off with some paprika. Now, a couple ways. I could either take a little bit of paprika and just put it in here, or I can get real gutsy and try to do it this way. Now, if I do it this way, I just want to be careful that I just want a little sort of bit of red, just a teeny little bit. Nothing crazy. If you don't think you can pull it off, don't do it, and just use a pinch and just sort of start doing each one like that. And what you'll see is you start to get this beautiful contrast. Now, deviled eggs is one of those things where, you know, you go places and then you see them and you kind of think, oh, do I really like them? Are they great? It's kind of funny because it became one of these sort of considered cheesy appetizers, but it's one of those things that are really good, I think. and especially around Easter time. I just find that it has it's refreshing, it's delicious, and it's just the right sort of yumminess. So now I'm going to go with my chives, and you can already see. Hopefully, you can see that. But you can already see the contrast, and the green just sort of brings that out a little bit as we go here. There we go. I don't often garnish on my knees here, but we're gonna go with that. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so that's them. You can, if I wanted to make these look even more sort of refined, of course, I would have piped them in with a star tip. Okay, and then I could use a little bit of caviar, maybe a little cut up smoked salmon, a caper, and some dill, and I could really kick these up to be a really, really beautiful upscale kind of appetizer. But that ability to cook and hard boil an egg is important. And if you hard boil your eggs the way we used it, so remember that formula. The formula is easy. 10 minutes boiling, 1 minute off the heat, sitting there, and then cold water, peel them right away, and they'll come out all beautiful. And you can use those to make an egg salad. You could use them to garnish a salad itself. You could just cut them into quarters, put them around a green salad or a julienne chef salad, and it would be beautiful. Okay, so anyways, I hope I've encouraged you guys to try this, and I'm about to try one right now. Have a great day. Ciao.